Bills Tuesday is back. What's up, everybody? Long time. Not really long, but, not a lot's been going on. Life's been busy. Business is good, but life is busy. So, wanted to do something earlier for training camp and just didn't get around to it, but here we are. So, it's still August. It's still training camp. We're 4 days away from the final preseason game, which we'll chat about in just a second here, but figured I'd do one here before the season starts. Maybe talk a little roster prediction, just what's going on with our football team. So, first and foremost, significant injury obviously to our team with Milano with his bicep. Obviously the hope has got to be that he comes back and can come back sometime in December, like they've been saying since he heard it. So I'm hopeful. I think that still means he can work out and cardio and that type of stuff, so he can be in shape and kind of hit the ground running when he's able to come back. We'll see if that's the case. Whenever you lose a top 3 player at their position, not just, starting caliber player for your team or whatever. Milano's a top 3 linebacker in the league, so it's tough. But they've won games without him. Obviously, last year he missed the majority of the season, and he's missed some time previous to that. So it's unfortunate. There's no other way to describe it. It's just unfortunate. So you hope that he can come back and contribute and be the player that he was, pre now injuries, which I think he can. So I'm not really concerned that this is a career threatening or even ability threatening injury. So speedy recovery to Matthew. Piggybacking on that, I think probably the talk of the town is Buffalo Joe. Mr. Andreessen had a hell of a night on Saturday in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Guy was a monster. I said to my dad, if you didn't know who Matt Milano was and Joe Andreessen and just took their numbers away, you would have thought that that's almost the same player. He was that good. The way he diagnosed, the way he just is able to get to spots. Say what you want about Justin Fields. I think we can all agree the athleticism and pure speed is top 5 in the NFL from the quarterback position. And he hunted him down multiple times. The play that he made on Jaylen Warren, I thought was the deciding factor for me as to why he's going to make the 53 and punch his roster ticket. That play was tremendous. You're taking on a pulling guard. You're engaged. You disengage. You're able to get to the sideline and get a tackle for loss or maybe a yard or at the line of scrimmage. And Jaylen Warren is a phenomenal running back. One of my favorites in the league. So exciting. Look, opportunities like this happen all the time where somebody gets hurt and somebody steps up. Am I sitting here saying that Joe Andreessen is going to supplant Matt Milano and be the starting will linebacker for this team? No, I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that if he can build on that, you're gonna have a spot. And I think that they're in a spot as well that they know, or they should, that type of play in this league when you can go side to side is coveted. So he ain't gonna get to a practice squad. He's not. So if he's part of Cutdown Day, which I believe is a week from today, the 27th, 4 o'clock, maybe noon, I want to say 4. And then practice squad is the 28th, the next day. You got like a day in between. So, it's exciting. Am I like ready to put my feet up and say, "Oh, hey, we don't need Milano"? No, I'm not. I'm not stupid. Matt Milano's an all-pro football player, but I am excited. I am excited. So that position, I think we're going to be fine at. I've really liked what Dorian Williams has turned into so far this offseason and this preseason. I think he's taking that next step. Sure, there's a ton of room to grow, but I think that he's going to get the nod. It's going to be him and Bernard at linebacker to start the year. I don't think that they put Morrow in, especially him. I think he just started practicing today, but I think it's going to be Dorian. So, as a preseason as a whole, I'm taking everything with a grain of salt, right? Like they're clearly not. Josh is going to have 2 drives when it's all said and done because they're not going to play on Saturday. So, does that scare me? No. He's into this thing far enough. He knows the system. He knows Joe. He knows. That doesn't scare me at all. I think that there's enough reps at practice that they can hit the ground running. I think one of the more significant injuries is kind of going back to injuries is the turf toe for Curtis Samuel. I think that he's going to be a big part of the offense if he's on the field, obviously. So not having him for any time period is going to sting a little bit because he's a top 3 guy for them at the position. So, now you're talking Shakir, Coleman, and Hollins. Shakir, Coleman, MVS. That can be tougher. Again, that's the way that they approach the position, and their approach from a philosophical standpoint. Is their offense is going to run through their tight end, and they're going to run the football, and they're going to try and be more of a play action type passing attack, and being able to use the backs out of the backfield. That's why they drafted a guy like Ray Davis, who one of his big attributes is being able to catch the ball. Ty Johnson, we saw it, can do it. Obviously Cook, got to hang on to it. But the talent is there. I'm not, in no way, shape, or form, do I think that because of what has left the building and what we've brought in from a vet or drafty spot means that there's going to be this huge fall off. Nope. And there shouldn't be because of who our quarterback is. I'm of the belief that I believe their approach of having the defense guess continuously is going to help them. I think that Kincaid is going to be that guy. And that's what they're banking on. And I don't think that down the stretch that he showed that he couldn't be a 90 to 110 pushing 120 catch type player for us. The way that he plays the game, the trust that Josh had in him down the stretch last year. Him and Shakir were the go-tos. It wasn't the top 2 receivers. It was the 3rd or 4th receiver, wherever you want to plug Shakir into at the end of last year, and Kincaid. So, I'm excited about that. I don't think that it's the thing that's going to hinder them, and again, this is any team, is injuries. So it's just the nature of the beast is when you are down starters and the people that you have in place to produce can't play, it's you can't fault that or put that fault on anybody. But bad luck. Just the way that it is. So I don't think any of these guys that they brought in have a injury prone history or that type of stuff. Just it is what it is. Again, still got plenty of time. We are August 20th. We are 2.5 weeks roughly from Arizona. So, plenty of time. And again, I think I don't want to take any opponent lightly, but if it's something that, okay, hey, Samuel can't play week 1, I'd rather have him for Miami on Thursday. And then you get a 10-day break. Actually, no, you get an 11-day break because you play on Monday at home. So, yeah. Other little notes here. Pardon the yawn. I'll go through quickly because it can be long. My 53 here projection, and then just kind of talk about some guys that I think are going to be players for us this year and obviously hopefully into the future. Obviously we know Josh Trubisky as of now. I think they should put Trubisky in IR and end his season because I think he's probably the worst backup quarterback in the league. How does that sound? It's been one of my criticisms since March 7th. Why did they run out before free agency started and give this guy a 2-year deal like he was going to have some huge market after Pittsburgh cut him? Makes no sense to me. If you wanted the continuity thing, just bring back Kyle Allen. It's that simple. And actually, now they might be forced to do something like that if Kyle Allen's cut because Trubisky sounds like it's going to be a month plus. They could just save everybody the time and just put him on IR. That's what they could do. I'd play DiNucci. That's where I'm at. It can't be any worse than what Mitch Trubisky offers you from a quarterback perspective at this level. He is atrocious. We've seen even when he was here a couple years ago, right? It's fine running the ball. Now he can't do that. Now he's not mobile. Now he's stuck in the mud, can't go, can't just get it into second and third gear, right? On top of, doesn't have the arm, can't make the throws, oversells, underthrows, this whole thing, right? So, Josh and X, they're going to carry 2 quarterbacks. They're certainly not going to carry 3. So, those 2 guys. Cook, Davis, and Ty Johnson. Gilliam, obviously from a fullback special teams contributor perspective, he'll make the roster. I'd be shocked if he didn't. Kincaid, Knox, Morris. I know Zach Davidson, had a little run there where he was making plays left and right. I think that's a guy that they can get on the practice squad. So, but now Morris is hurt, and Morris potentially could be a multi-week shoulder injury. So, is that a guy that they IR and do a short-term, thing with? I think Sal Capaccio said that there's 2 players that within a certain time frame, if you IR them, they can still be brought back once the regular season starts and it's past week 3. I believe it's 2 players. So is that one of, Quentin Morris? I don't know. Maybe. Receiver, Coleman, Shakir, Samuel, Hollins, MVS, if healthy, I said. Sounds like he's going to be all right with the neck sprain, but it could be a multi-week injury. If that's the case, obviously Shavers makes the roster, and who knows after that? I mean, is Damian Byrd, who I don't even think had any burn against Pittsburgh. Is it an Andy Isabella? I don't know. But that's my receiver room. Offensive line. Obviously, Dion, Edwards, McGovern, Torrance Brown. That's your starting 5. I have Lyle Collins, VPG, Van Denmark, and Anderson as the backups. They're going to carry 9. Wouldn't be surprised if it's 10, especially how they want to run the ball. They love to use, as they've done even before Brady, but they continued it with Brady, using that 6 O-lineman in the run game. So that's the offense. Defense, Russo, Miller, Solomon, Epenez, Smoot, and Kingsley Jonathan, our king. That's the D end room. Oliver, Jones, Carter, Johnson is the D tackle. Thrilled about that group. I think anybody that knows me, that's had the conversation with me over the last couple months, I'm really excited about our D line, both interior and out. Solomon, I'll just get into it. Solomon's a guy that I think is going to be a player. I just think that what I've seen on tape, it's good. It's really good. There's just some things that you can't teach, and he's got a phenomenal motor. You've heard about the arm length. He's strong on the edge. He's a really good player. Small school, Troy, but they produce those players, right? So excited about him. I like Smoot as well. I think Smoot's a guy that really good player for Jacksonville for many years, and I think that he's going to bring what we haven't had. He's a guy that can kick inside on third downs. Another guy that sets the edge very well. Pro's pro. And, in years past, we haven't had that type of guy. Floyd was that guy last year. But just kind of going back to, some of these guys, your Mario Addisons, your... trying to think of some of these edge guys that they've brought in. Your Trent Murphys, it's just... They don't really offer you much. This guy has stuff to offer. He's got stuff to offer. So, I'm buying it. Linebacker. So, obviously, the biggest one IR is Milano. Bernard Williams. I got Andreessen. Ulo Fusho. And then Deion Jones to start. So, that's 5 linebackers. Bale Inspector's hurt, right? So, is he an IR guy, or is he a stash? And I don't think that teams are going to be standing in line for Bale Inspector. So I like Deion Jones from a vet standpoint as well. Is he the same player that he used to be in Atlanta? No, but I think we've seen that now for multiple years. I still think he's decent. Can spot start you. Again, pro type of guy. Like it. So he's on my roster. DB, Douglas, Benford, Ty Johnson, obviously. There's your 3. I am a huge fan of Ingram's. Another guy that I just think he plays with tenacity, physical, plays my brand of football. He's just a really good player. He's a sound player. Tackles, does it all. Like him a lot. Obviously, Elam is going to make the roster in terms of what he's done in the preseason and in training camp, and kudos to him. Again, I'm not somebody that just because you're on my shit list doesn't mean that you can't come off the shit list if you prove yourself. Case in point, Mitch Trubisky. I'm going to call him Trubisky from now on. Trubisky has done the opposite, right? He sucked, and he continues to suck. Elam has shown strides. Again, it's not in games, so it could change real quick. But can make my roster. And then Hardy from liked what he showed in coverage against Pittsburgh, but I also like, and I think they like, because they gave him the majority of the returns in the return game. So and plus inside outside position flexibility there. Safety, again, going to be tough because of the injuries. Rapp, Edwards, Bishop, Hamlin, Lewis. I'd ship off Hamlin for a backup quarterback. Maybe he wants to go to Atlanta and we can have Tyler Heineke. I don't know. But yeah, so Rapp, we'll see with Edwards, man. I don't know if this guy's going to even practice before week 1. Who knows? Bishop is back practicing. So is it a Bishop Rapp starting tandem week 1? We'll see. Cam Lewis is a cockroach. Cam Lewis is that type of guy where it's like, man, you really like what you see here, you like what you see there, but then it's just like, man, what the fuck is that? Again, we're talking about guys that are like 40 to 53 range on a roster, right? And that's why they're there. So they're going to bring him back again. They love the position flexibility. Could spot you, as a nickel or dime corner. Could play safety, special teams, gunner, etc. So that's my defense. That was 26. Offense was 24. Obviously, Bass, Martin, Ferguson. If I can upgrade punter, I certainly will. Martin's another one of those guys that I just have zero confidence in whatsoever. Just none. I think I have more confidence that Rory's going to win another major than I do Martin not shanking a fucking punt once a game. Just decade plus in the league. Literally one job. And the guy's just so inconsistent. So 3 for special teams there, obviously making 53. So we'll see how much change there is. So you're talking linebackers, you're talking safety, right? In terms of like who's gonna start, who's not, based on injury. Quarterback, do they keep Danucci? I think Danucci, look, we are a team like basically everybody else that you lose your quarterback for any extended period of time, forget about it. It's over. But I want a capable backup for if we got to tread water for 1-2 a month type thing. Where maybe if we can split, 2-2 or go 1-2 or not 0-3. That's what I want in my backup quarterback. And Trubisky, we wouldn't win a fucking game if Mitch Trubisky was our quarterback. We wouldn't beat New England. He'd get eaten alive by New England's defense. Alive. Wouldn't score a point. We would have to rely on special teams and defense to score in that game. What else? Receiver, obviously, right? In terms of injuries. So, that's my 53. We'll see if they make a move, right? I think that there's going to be... I wouldn't doubt that there's one guy, position you choose, that is signed to the active 53 from someone that person is cut from another team. He's picked up. Is it a starter? No. But it happens every year. I mean, it's like, wow, whoa, this guy got cut. Like, he can help us. Whether it's in the interim because of injury or whether it's just better depth, right? So, I think that where the 53 is a whole right now, I think he's in a good spot. I like the offensive line. I want to see how McGovern does from a game in and game out standpoint, right? If I had to choose, that's probably my biggest question mark when it comes to the O-line. Barring that Spencer Brown continues the path that he, jumped on last year and continued on. His best year as a pro was last year, so hopefully he can build on that, especially in the contract year. I don't mind David Edwards at left guard, but again, is it McGovern left guard and VPG at center? He's looked really good at center, right? And he's got the games under his belt from a collegiate standpoint. I think he played like 64 games or something like that, like captain at the highest of highs in the SEC at Georgia. So like he's ready for now, right? He's ready to play. So we'll see with the O-line. And yeah, again, I think I'll give you my 2 while we're at it here. We're on the topic. I'm shooting high, but what I like about our team, like I said, is I believe that when you game plan against us, you're not going to be able to say, okay, this guy is going to get 8, 10, 12 targets, and if it's not him, it's this guy. And it's known, and they have film, and they know Diggs and Davis, right? Okay. I think part of what hurt us as an offense and why we would get into these ruts is because of that. Is because it was redundant. It was the same type of shit over and over and over again. And I think when they went to Brady and all of a sudden they started to run the ball more, people were like, whoa, what the fuck? Buffalo doesn't run the football. They throw the ball 47 times a game. And it set up things, right? So I'm going to sneeze. It could be loud. Come on now. Come on. Watermelon. We got it. That's what excites me. I believe that we have a soon-to-be top 5 tight end in the league. And team that's won it back-to-back years has done so with that. They got rid of their star receiver and won one. So this is not a rebuild. It was a retool, re-philosophy, right? Okay. And see what happens. So schedule, I have losses to Baltimore, Seattle, Indianapolis, and the Rams. That's who I have losses to. I was in between. Again, we play Kansas City very well. I don't care whether it's postseason, regular season, and we've had really good success against Kansas City. Right? It just doesn't. It hasn't happened in January. Okay, so not apologizing for us beating them at home before our bye. San Fran again too. We have no idea. Nobody has an idea of where teams are going to be in terms of injury, in terms of whatever. I don't see Purdy being able to come into Orchard Park in December and win. Sorry, don't see it. Going to Los Angeles late in the year, right? They almost lost one last year against the Chargers. It's just tough. It's tough. The Rams are good. They're well coached. They got a good quarterback. It's another one, though. All of a sudden, Stenson Bennettson, because, I don't know where the thumbs up came from, but the Macs agreeing with me. Stafford, who knows, right? So, Indianapolis is going to be a tough game. I'm a big fan. I'm still a big fan of Anthony Richardson. I think he was a middle-class Josh Allen, right? In terms of like when they came out in the draft. I think that he, if he takes the next step, they got weapons around him. I think Jonathan Taylor being back, fully healthy. They got a pretty decent defense, players on that side of the ball. They're in a weak division. So, again, tough game. Plus, we play Miami at home the week before. So, again, potential for a little bit of a letdown. At Baltimore, part of me was, okay, if I don't have them losing to Baltimore, I have them being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-0 to start the season. Is that realistic? No. Can it happen? You're damn right it could. Again, is it likely? Probably not. Right? So you might lose a game on a last-second field goal or something like that. So at Baltimore, big win, short week. Right, so we go Monday Night Football home against Jacksonville, to Baltimore Sunday Night Football. Tough. We'll see. So those are the losses. It is, in my opinion, ending the season. New England, home against New England, home against the Jets at New England, really gives them the opportunity to say, okay, hey, they should win all those 3 games, right? Should beat New England both times, and they should beat the Jets at home. And who knows? At that point in time, Rodgers could be in fucking Saudi Arabia on a camel. Who the hell knows? So, if playoffs are 10-11, right? So you can be 7-8, 7 or 8 wins at that point in time. They've shown it really every second half of the year and really November, December, that they win those games when it matters most to get into or to clinch a division title, whatever the case might be. So I can't see that being any different this year. So 13-4. You know, take it or leave it. If you're leaving it, cool. You know, don't care. But that's what I think is going to happen. Because again, I think that how this team is going to operate is going to be vastly different than in years past. And I think that's going to throw opponents off for a while. Maybe the whole year. Maybe the whole year, right? Maybe we're Miami of 08 and it's just Wildcat and nobody knows what the hell hit them until it's fucking Christmas. Never know. Not that I'm saying we're going to run the Wildcat, but like in terms of the league catching up. Let's see here, 31. So that's where we're at. That's where I'm at with the team. I'm thoroughly excited for the season. Again, it's not a rebuild, it's a retool. I am truly of the belief that this team got better by subtraction. I am truly of the belief that my quarterback looks, sounds, vibes, whatever, is 180 difference than it's been in years past. And listen, this is not a me thing, but I've been in sales. I'm currently in a side of sales in real estate. I can read people pretty well. And ask, again, anybody that's talked to me in the last 4 months, 5 months. Josh has sounded like somebody that had a monkey the size of Texas taken off his shoulders. Funny that I said Texas. That was just off the cuff. God's honest truth. And we'll see. We'll see what that means from a Josh Allen standpoint. How does that translate to his play? I think we're going to be in for a pretty good show this year. So that's it. Half hour is what I wanted to do. I accomplished that 33 minutes ago. So as the season here gets closer, I'll probably do one next week for the final 53. And then we'll spit them out. We'll spit them out for week to week, right? For the games and reaction and that type of stuff. And if you don't care what I think, that's fine. Don't hit play, right? But this is easy for me to do this, and I can send it to people who want my opinion, and away we go, right? So, go Bills, and we'll catch you next week.